Ever make a significant hiring mistake or even a series of mistakes that made you feel like you were sucker punched right in the gut? I remember clearly the day when an angry manager said, "Stephen, you suck at hiring and you should be fired. I told your boss so." I had a hybrid job. Half the day I did staffing work. The other half I met on grievances, dealt with employee discipline and terminations. So basically, I had to fire the problems that I hired. I had less than a year experience under my belt. I had fired a fair number of people. The plant manager had forecasted no change in hiring after the Christmas holidays. But when I pulled in the parking lot my first day after the holidays, I saw hundreds of people lined up around the building like a giant anaconda snake. Suddenly, I had over 1,000 manufacturing jobs to hire for and less than 6 months to do it. I was frustrated trying to sort, sift, and separate the hundreds of unqualified applicants from my anaconda line. I often interviewed dozens of candidates without finding even one who was qualified. I was beginning to feel the pressure of meeting this enormous goal. I made far too many hiring mistakes. I was lied to a bunch of times. I'm sure you've had that happen to you once in a while. But I even had the FBI show up one day to arrest a guy that I had hired who had stolen the identity of his prison cellmate. He wasn't even who he said he was. Time and again I was stopped by a manager who would say, "Stephen, so-and-so you hired is technically good, but they have a bad attitude." "What's that mean?" I'd ask. Responses included, "They don't follow instructions. They aren't a good team player. They aren't respectful of others. They don't pay attention to details." And the list went on and on. The managers were frustrated and sometimes angry. In fact, there was the fateful day when the manager said, "You should be fired." That's when I came to the horrifying realization that the manager was right. My performance sucked. I knew there had to be a better way. I made it my mission to figure out a way of hiring that really worked. I read and searched and read some more. But everything I read was based on the same old stuff, the same hiring methods that failed me time and again. Then I struck gold. Did you know there are studies that say the typical interview most people use predicts whether someone you hire will succeed or fail with 14% of the time? That's right, 85% of the time interviewing won't accurately tell you whether or not to hire. Finally though, I discovered research that led me to create a process that ultimately gives me the ability to predict a candidate's potential for future success 90% of the time. Whoa! My new process made a difference, a huge difference. Even the manager who wanted me fired was impressed. Why do I share the story? I don't want you to suffer from the frustration of making hiring mistakes. Hiring people that have a bad attitude, aren't motivated, don't fit your organization, and create disruption and discontent. People who cost you money and your company money and make you look like an idiot for hiring them. Especially when you can become a hiring superhero who picks the right people to do the job time after time.